Have you ever wondered if it's possible to lose fat or build muscle while you're drinking alcohol? Well, that's what we're going to get into in this episode. We're going to be talking about the hidden impact of alcohol on fat loss and muscle building. We'll talk a little bit about what happens biologically within our body while we're drinking, how to mitigate some of the effects of alcohol if you're trying to lose fat, and then how can we do these things in tandem? So that way, next time you're at a quinceanera or a happy hour that's just gone on a little bit too long, you can still have those drinks that you want without necessarily costing you gains or progress in terms of fat loss. You're listening to the Low Carb Hustle, home of your $1,000,000 body method, where we help you get leaner and live longer. My name is Nate Palmer. I've been a coach since 2008, helped over 1,200 people level up their health and fitness. My mission is simple: to show you how to easily drop fat so you can feel lean, strong, and energetic. So if you're ready to learn a little bit about how alcohol works within the body and how we can use some of these rules to our advantage, well, stick around. Let's do this. So I want to talk today about how alcohol affects our body's ability to burn fat, build muscle, and recover. Plus, I'm going to give you a couple tips to how to enjoy a drink, the holidays or whatever else, a 6-year-old birthday party, doesn't matter. No judgment here, but without wrecking any of your progress. So we're going to be talking about how alcohol is kind of a pause button for fat loss and for your fitness goals and what you can do instead. So when you take your first drink, what happens is your body pushes pause on a lot of other metabolic functions, including muscle building and fat loss. Kind of for the purpose of this episode, that's what we're going to be focusing on. Because alcohol is technically a poison, and your body will preferentially eliminate that poison versus do literally anything else. So while your liver is processing the alcohol out, all of your fat burning is completely halted. Think about this rule next time you go have a drink. For every drink you have, fat burning and muscle building pause for about an hour. So if you are, having 2 or 3 glasses of wine every single night, you are spending a lot of time in a state where you are not able to burn fat and you're not able to build muscle. It can be a really detrimental when you think about it from a long-term perspective, even if you're not having that many drinks. The other thing about this, though, and the thing that I think people really, really get messed up on, is whenever you are drinking and you're eating at the same time, like I said, your body stops a lot of the metabolic processes. So if you eat food while you're drinking alcohol, your body will take that food and literally just store it as fat. It's like, we got to get rid of the toxins first. We got to get rid of this poison. And then we can start using that food, building muscle, doing whatever with it. But for now, just slap that into storage, right? And it always goes to the place we want at least, right? There's a reason beer belly is a term that, and you see guys who have beer bellies and it's just this distended, big, bloated belly, because a lot of that food that they're eating while they're drinking, or the carbs that you're intaking from wine, beer, pina coladas, those end up going to visceral fat. And even if they're not in visceral fat, they're still going to be around your stomach, around your love handles, just in the place that you want at least. A lot of that is genetics, but a lot of times alcohol will just preferentially get stored in visceral fat. So be really, really careful about that. Drinking alcohol frequently or in large amounts really shrinks your fat burning window. And then fat storage increases, especially when you're drinking alongside high calorie meals, snacks, nachos, pizza, some of the drunk food that, the Taco Bell drive-through, sounds really good at 2 a.m. after 14 beers. We've all been there, I think, probably. If you're like me, you walked up to the drive-through window in Tucson and we're like, "Can you serve me?" And they're like, "No." And you're like, "Well, but it'd be really cool if you did." There was something else. There was something important I had to say about that, but I got sidetracked by just thinking about Jack in the Box tacos. That happens a lot, in this life. So we'll wrap it there. I'll probably come back to it, maybe. All right. So muscle building, though. Your body needs a lot of energy and a lot of resources to build muscle in the forms of proteins, amino acids, water, energy, and all of those are diverted to when your body is processing alcohol. Muscle building is a very difficult process. Your body doesn't really want to build muscle. Your body's main goal is to keep you alive. And so the only reason your body builds muscle is because it feels like if it doesn't build that muscle, you will die. So that's why you see guys in the gym who are bench pressing 135 pounds for 3 sets of 10 reps. And they were bench pressing 135 pounds for 3 sets of 10 reps last year. And the year before that, they're not gaining any muscle. Their body has no reason to change. That's why I love you in the $1 Million Body program. And, we're working with clients. And if you've ever been to a Savage Saturday workout, what we're always trying to focus on is that final set. What does that last set look like? How do we take that to its complete maximum? So I don't even care about the first 2 or 3 sets, really. I use those as workup or warm-up sets to really get that big payoff in the final set, right? Push yourself to the limit where you feel like, yeah, if you don't get this rep up, you may drop 100 pounds on your face and you might die. Giving your body a reason to build muscle, incredibly important. But alcohol actually will reduce protein synthesis. That's the process responsible for muscle repair and growth. So if you go hit the gym and then you go have a drink afterwards, a la, you watch Pumping Iron, you saw Arnold do it and you're like, Arnold can do it. Well, Arnold was a 19-year-old like freak from, Austria. He doesn't count, right? Can't watch that. It's not a documentary. That's almost fictional. But when you're having a drink afterwards, you are blunting and completely eliminating your body's ability to build muscle for an hour per drink. So it really will slow everything down and reduce your training effectiveness. And honestly, just kind of mitigate the workouts and all the hard work you just did. So drinking after workout, definitely not something you want to do. And especially when your body is building muscle over the course of like 24 to 48 hours, depending on how hard your workout was. Think about that. If you're having a great workout on like Friday and then Saturday, you're crushing 16 beers, you're limiting a lot of the muscle growth you could have seen by just eating right, getting enough sleep, that sort of thing. So if you're chasing muscle gains, if you're chasing a awesome physique, cutting back on alcohol is a big win. Personally, when pandemic time, we were drinking all the time. Like, it was like 2:00 on a Tuesday. We'd be like, yeah, it's time for a drink, having a couple drinks. That was when I was at my heaviest. And since then, I've really, really cut back. I didn't go completely like alcohol free or get sober or anything like that. But, maybe having like one drink, couple drinks every month now. And honestly, my physique, my recovery, those all feel like they are much more dialed in than they've ever been before. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? How do we have our drinks, enjoy them, and still make progress? No, number one is stop eating about 2 hours before you start drinking. I feel like it's like the drinking donut. So like give your body time to digest the food that it ate before you start putting alcohol in. So use that food for energy, use that food for muscle building, process that food out, and then have your alcohol. Because when food and alcohol enter the system simultaneously, your body will prioritize getting rid of that toxin first, which increases fat storage. So avoid mixing food and alcohol. I always say don't mix food and drugs. And when I say drugs, I'm talking about alcohol and caffeine primarily, because those are the 2 biggest drugs abused in the US right now. So try to avoid, eating while you drink coffee, mitigates the effects of the caffeine a little bit, and avoid drinking alcohol while you're eating because it causes a lot of fat storage. Number 2 is this is going to be a bummer if you're a nighttime drinker, if you love a nightcap, but stop drinking 3 hours before bed. So if you can, that's why another pro in the column of day drinking here, because alcohol disrupts your sleep cycles. If you ever worn an Oura ring or a Whoop or something like that, had a couple drinks and gone to bed, you wake up and your recovery's in the tank. That's the reason why. It crushes your REM sleep, which is critical for your mental recovery and feeling sharp the next day. A lot of that hangover you're feeling is just you didn't have any REM sleep. You didn't have any mental recovery. So allowing some time before bed helps the body process alcohol out and will improve your sleep quality. So better sleep, I've been harping on that a lot recently. It equals better recovery, fewer cravings, more energy the next day, all of the good things that we want. Number 3, this is going to surprise you. Really shocking. It's reduce your frequency of use of alcohol. Just drink less. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. But the less you drink, the less time you spend in a non-fat burning phase, and then maybe skipping a drink here or there, especially if you're only gonna have one drink, and you're gonna pause fat burning, pause muscle building, and then put all that food and calories into fat. Like, why even have one drink? Just avoid it. Go have have 6 drinks the next Saturday at 3:00. That'll do it. And then the last tip is if you are going to drink, have simpler drinks, lower calorie drinks, avoid the beer, avoid the wine as much as you can, avoid the pina coladas. I'm a tequila soda with lime or vodka soda. I identify as a sorority girl in my drinking habits. So those are going to be better options because cutting calories out of your drinks is going to avoid the amount of calories that are going to get stored while you're drinking. It's a small thing, but it'll help you maintain some of your fitness goals and momentum there. So just to summarize, alcohol stops your fat burning, it stops your muscle building, and it disrupts your metabolism. It kills your sleep, it destroys your recovery. And, it's not that great to drive when you're doing it. That's another fun fact about alcohol. So it's just, there's not a lot of positives to it. And then I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'm getting to the point where if I have a drink or 3 drinks or something like that, I catch a light buzz for like 40 minutes and then I get a headache right afterwards. And I don't know what that's about. If it's just that I've been very clean with my diet and on my workouts and stuff for a long time, and my body is like, hey, this is actually poison and you're going to feel it. Or if I'm just drinking too many White Claws, but it just like the juice does not feel like it's worth the squeeze. I talked about alcohol a lot, with my clients, and I always talk about how expensive it is. And everyone's like, yeah, night out cost me like $100 or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's not it. They're like, yes, there's a financial cost associated. Sure. Even more if you want to end up in Tent City in Arizona for 30 days, that's very expensive. Worst lodgings ever, 0 to 5 stars. But the expense comes like in the terms of future you, how you feel, what's your energy like, what's your progress like. Everyone who's listening to this has goals, right? We're trying to get better in some capacity. Right now, the shirt I'm wearing says 1% better every day, because that's I believe that philosophy that I think I try to embody and try to bring to the podcast. But if you're drinking a bunch and waking up hungover is a great way to feel 10% worse the next day, if kind of on the light end of those things. So if you could just avoid it as much as possible, have it when it makes sense for you, but really avoid those single drinks like the wine with dinner, the one glass of beer here and there, like those things you can cut out and make a big difference in your life, your progress, your momentum, all those things. So make a small change, something that we talked about today, like adjusting your meal timing, reducing your frequency, stopping earlier in the evening. All that stuff can make a big difference. So try one of those this week if you're going to be drinking. And then if this helped you out at all, share it with somebody else. I also had one more tip. One of my buddies, Paul Leviton, he's been on the podcast before. He was trying out a bunch of different hangover cures. And he said that the number one best one was called Z-Biotic, pre-alcohol prebiotic. He said that really, really helped. And that was one of the main things. Another thing that I learned from a guy named Dr. Eric Serrano at a men's health conference I was at, he said, take L-cysteine after drinking, as it will help eliminate some of the alcohol in your system. Basically, it was, let's see, I think it was 1,000 milligrams of L-cysteine will help eliminate some of the alcohol in your system. So L-cysteine and that Z-Biotic, pre-alcohol prebiotic, apparently can help kill hangovers. So take that for what it's worth. Try to enjoy that and pass this podcast along. Anytime you're sharing it, I really, really appreciate that. Well, I hope you're having an amazing day. I'll talk to you very soon. Enjoy your holidays if you're listening to this beforehand.